school hereby resolves to form a trade union, which shall be called Union of British Schoolgirls.
Yeah, we're going to demand free ice cream and Coke.
And free motorbikes.
I'll settle for a mint coat.
Now, hold it, girls, hold it. Let me ask you a pregnant question. What are you going to do when the ministry gives you the brush off?
We'll strike! Stop work! Yeah! We don't do any anyway, so what difference will it make?
Hello and welcome to Comic Book Movie Oblivion, the podcast about feature films based on comic books and comic strips that people have stopped talking about. We're your hosts, Jordan and Kumar, that's me.
And me.
And this week we are talking about the Wildcats of St. Trinian's from 1980.
Oh yeah.
Now, we do have some additional reading this week, because you read...
I read The Terror of St. Trinian's.
Yeah.
Which is one of the books that we mentioned. So, sort of like a humorous books would come out. There are 2 or 3, I think, with art by Searle and the text generally by somebody else.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's very hard for a book to be funny, I think. Especially when you set out to write a book that's just funny and not, I don't know, something like satire or something like that. It's not very funny. It's mostly just puns, like dumb name puns and stuff.
Right. Well, some of the art from that ended up in that collection.
Yes, and now I know why. Now I understand.
Out of context, which you mentioned that first week is like, what is this referring to?
We didn't get some of them where it's just... So there's a kind of vampish character. She's called Angela Menace.
Okay.
And she's kind of like a terror, and she's the eponymous terror. She's like a bully and queen bee, and daughter of a Fleet Street financier, and all things like that. Anyway, so a lot of those comics are just, all those pictures were about her, like the one of her standing outside the front of the door and saying she had set her mind on something or other, and like we were reading that at the time, going, what the hell's what am I missing? Now, similarly, there's 2 firemen putting out a fire, and they're saying something about this is just like the storming of the beaches or something or other. And reading that, so what's all this about? Well, they're just illustrations of things that occur in this book. Yeah, there's not too much to say about it, except that I think that these books had an influence on the films.
Okay.
Because some of the names are even the same. There's a Miss Hackworth in the book, for example, which is the name of the Australian woman that ran a Borstal from last week. Yeah. The Board of Education plays an important role in the book.
Okay.
And they play an important role in every film that we've watched so far.
Yes.
Including this one, this week. There's a fire, Angela sets fire to the school. And also the, how would we say, romantic aspirations of some of the girls are more important in this book than in the comics, where they're just those goblins, those little girl goblins running around causing mayhem. In this book, which is, of course is not a comic, the kind of, I guess the plot of Terror of St. Trinian's is a love triangle. Between the head girl called Chloe Languish, who is a good girl and very beautiful, Angela Menace, and this kind of like Lord Byron sort of character. Who infiltrates... School infiltration, that's another thing. He infiltrates the school in disguise so that he can court the head girl, but he is seduced by Angela Menace, and particularly her family's wealth.
Right.
And that's kind of what that's kind of where the plot comes
What year was that? Do you remember?
It was early 50s, I think. So
Pre-movies.
Pre-movies, yeah, definitely.
So it's like the first form of adaptation, in a sense, trying to construct this structure around these random illustrations, but also it's endorsed with art by Ronald Searle in
That's right. So it's in a sort of grey area. We've kind of just talked about this kind of grey area before. Yeah, so I mean, this is still a series that's originally from cartoons and comics, but I can see that a lot of the kind of framework probably came from these novels. I
actually think by this stage, this 1980 movie we watched this week.
Oh, it's just become recursive.
It's about Frank Launder, the director.
Yes.
And writer. So,
yes. Despite
the fact that this is kind of a legacy sequel, which came out 10 years or 9 years after the... Wait, hang on. We had 54, 57, and then like a couple more...
It was more than 10 years. It was like 14 years or something.
It's the same guy that comes back.
Yes, it is the same guy.
And he was the guy that did... I'm assuming he did 3 and 4 as well. This seems to be his baby. Like...
Yes.
I'm the St. Trinian's guy, and this is whatever I think it is. It doesn't really matter what Ronald Searle thinks.
Well, now it's become self-perpetuating.
Yes. It's become Launder perpetuating. I think he's the driving...
I just mean that the film is only... this film is only referencing earlier films now.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So not...
Especially, we'll talk about it, because we'll get right in the opening credits. It's very obvious that this is not a Ronald Searle movie, because instead of having a little bit of those funny drawings, we get these scantily clad girls dancing in front of Superman, Spider-Man, and Wonder Woman.
Yes.
What?
That was strange, and I did notice that.
There's like 6 foot tall standees or like cutouts of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Spider-Man. We got a mix-up of DC and Marvel here, by the way.
Yeah, oh jeez.
And they're all pasted up on the wall behind them, and these girls are doing this sexy dance. Where are the Ronald Searle drawings?
Yes.
Why am I looking at Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman? It's so strange.
Ronald Searle, by this point, if he was still alive, is living in France as kind of like a weird recluse.
Right.
So he's not given any more art for these movies.
Sure, but then why sub in? I don't want to believe it, but it's possible that this guy was like, comics are comics. Give me some comic stuff. He said to the prop guy or the set dresser, hey, get me some comic stuff, because we don't have any Ronald Searle. These guys went down to Forbidden Planet and picked out these giant Superman and Wonder Woman drawings and pasted them out like, here's your comic art.
This is what we've got instead of art by Searle. Yeah, I want that. I need that to be true. Because how else do we explain it?
Yeah. It's the strangest thing.
Because those things never reappear, and there's nothing to do with any of those characters or comic book tropes or anything at all.
It's supposed to be that kids like comic. They're the older girls. It's not even the little kids singing the theme song.
It does. Yeah, it does. We get the kids singing the theme song, and they look just the same, except they're in color. They've got the straw hats.
First 15 seconds of this movie, I was like, hey, the kids are back.
Yep.
Because I didn't like that movie last week, the way they aged up all the kids. We hardly had any little kids. We have the little kids singing the theme song, completely unintelligible. Last time we had the little bouncing ball with the lyrics. This time it's just rah, 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 rah. I was like, what? But then suddenly, literally like 17 seconds into this, hard cut to these...
record scratch. Not audible, but it might as well be. Yeah. And then it starts playing some like doo-wop or like stripper music. And we've got, hopefully, of-age girls gyrating in suspenders.
Yeah.
And
in front of these cutouts of Superman and Batman and Spider-Man. And they do the sexy dance, and I'm like, what is this? And then suddenly it smashes back, and the whole credits goes back and forth between these two.
Yeah, you really know what you're getting right away from the start. I mean, first of all, I don't think this was in the last film, but the first thing you hear when the film starts is a wolf whistle.
Yes, that's right.
Over the director's chairs of Launder and the other guy who only worked as a producer on this one. And we get a wolf whistle. I don't think that was in the last one, but it's like, well, this is what St. Trinian's is now. This is why we're watching this movie.
That's right.
Because we want to see girls in schoolgirl outfits, young women in schoolgirl outfits.
Even the poster for this thing has these...
No more Searle art.
No, it's just women with their heads chopped off, by the way. It's just from like the neck down.
Yeah.
Wearing mini skirts with garters, like sexy lingerie garters.
Yeah, garters, of course, not suspenders. That's a different thing.
And so that's exactly what this. We're in real Benny Hill Carry On page 3 territory here with this movie. Sometimes literally.
Yes, literally.
But I have to say, I was glad the kids were back, and the kids have a bigger active role, the little kids, in this than the last one for sure.
It's true.
And that's something I was appreciating about it. But then anytime, I think it's 3 times suddenly naked women show up in the movie.
Yep.
And I don't know, every time, and I know we always joke about this, but I didn't know why. I don't know what plot point, I was like, wait, who are these? Why are these women walking around naked? Who are these characters?
Yep. It's
and literally every time one of those titillation scenes came up, I didn't know how the characters gotten to this point, what was happening.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it's just cut in there.
Oh yeah, it's just there for the male gaze.
Yeah. And they try to have it. almost both ways. They try to have their cake and eat it too. In the later, maybe we'll talk about it when we get to it.
All right.
We open on St. Trinian's, which is a castle. We've got a sign out front that says "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here." The sign is not as good as the signs we had in the movies in the 50s.
No.
It's like a cardboard thing that somebody's drawn from the prop department. But they've got this exterior shots of this castle, which is pretty good.
It is Norris Castle on the Isle of Wight.
Okay. And we get a voiceover at the beginning, very beginning, the very end of the movie.
Really weird.
Very weird. And actually, you see this woman in bed reading a book, and I thought it was the book she was reading.
Yeah.
I thought the voiceover was reading aloud. It's not. It's telling us about this woman.
The voiceover is only there to explain who the headmistress is.
Yes.
Who is not an important character
Yes.
in the film.
Also, do we need to know her backstory? Because this gives us a little backstory about how she was jilted in love, and she was going to kill herself or take the job at St. Trinian's, and she chose the job at St. Trinian's.
Why is this
this
here?
information is given to us.
But if every character got one of these voiceovers and they were funny, it would make sense. But only Sheila Hancock's headmistress gets it.
Yeah.
At the start and the end.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It also makes no sense that she has an eye patch.
She has an eye patch and also a glass eye underneath it.
She's got a glass eye under the eye patch.
Well, that's a gag.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be funny. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that's like...
Supposed to be funny, yeah.
And also, I've noticed some certain patterns with Frank Launder's work, now that I've seen 3 of his movies, which is that he makes 90-minute movies with 90 scenes in them. There's, like, so much that happens in this movie, and you're, like, can't keep track of it. A lot of things that you should see happening are only given to you in some dialogue.
And there are subplots that go nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, another thing I've noticed about him, he doesn't know what to do with undercover operatives.
Every movie has an
undercover operative that's discovered the scene they arrive. They arrive at their location and they're discovered.
That's right. In all 3 we've done, they've been discovered instantly or just announced that they're undercover.
Yeah.
And then they don't achieve anything.
That's right. Yes.
At all.
Yes. Exactly. Okay, so we meet this headmistress with the patch joke, I guess. She's supposed to be from Holland?
She is supposed to be from Holland, and she's obsessed with chocolates. That's her whole character.
So much obsession with chocolates. We cut back to, she's got this box of chocolates. She doesn't want people to steal the ones with hard centers, and she's got the legend, like with the sheet with the list on, and it's just scene after scene. People are trying to get into her chocolate box, and...
I don't know, maybe this is some sort of... Do Dutch people like chocolate?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Why is Sheila Hancock... Sheila Hancock, incidentally, is a great actor.
Okay.
With a long career in British cinema and television. Kind of like an author as well. She's written several volumes of biography. Okay. Some of which I read part of one for this week. I don't know what she's doing. Yeah. I don't know who told her to do a Dutch accent.
Yeah.
I don't know why she's doing it. She herself doesn't know why.
Yes.
Shall I read the quote? So she wrote a book just 3 years ago called Old Rage, a pun on old age, which is like in her 80s. I sometimes anguish about my eclectic career and my questionable contribution to the culture that I consider essential for our society. The Wildcats of St. Trinian's is one of the worst films ever made. I suppose that is a sort of distinction. Mercifully, it seems to have got lost in the ether, so it does not pop up to bite me on some obscure satellite channel, but attempting to follow in the footsteps of the sublime Alistair Sim and play the headmistress of the school with, for some unknown reason, a Dutch accent, cannot claim high status in the British film canon. And yeah, I think as we've mentioned, this film is vanished from the UK.
Yeah.
There was a DVD release in the US, apparently.
Okay.
But when the St. Trinian films have been re-released in the UK on DVD, this film is not included.
Interesting. Okay. So they've knocked it out of continuity.
Yep.
Okay. So in the school, the girls, we meet the young girls, which I like. They're kind of middle. They're not real young, but they're not. They call
the fourth and fifth forms.
Right.
So then we've got the sixth form girls again.
Yeah.
Who are just straight up adults in their 20s.
Yeah.
But most of our named characters and the ones that are moving the plot along, such as it is, belong to quote unquote fourth and fifth. So they're like what, 14, 15? Do you think? Is that how
yeah,
old they're supposed
maybe
to be?
12, 13, 14, in there, yeah, 15 maybe at the top.
Oh,
There's one girl that's kind of like the chief. She's a pretty good actress, actually. She seems young, like 15 or something.
Yep.
And they are having some issue, and they've got this kind of secret clubhouse, and they want Flash Harry to ask him for advice.
Yep.
Flash Harry, for some reason, is working in a Chinese restaurant called Wong Ari, and sometimes he wears a fake mustache and puts on a fake Chinese accent.
Apparently, I think the mustache is supposed to be his Chinese disguise.
Yes, it's supposed to be.
So at least they didn't put yellow face on him and tape up his eyes.
It's supposed to be like a Fu Manchu mustache.
But it's not a Fu Manchu.
No, it's not.
It just looks
It's
like
not.
it looks like a kind of like a
But
regular
why is he
mustache.
undercover at this place? What's the?
Well, it's a dodge. Like he's running a Chinese restaurant when he's not Chinese. That's the joke. It's a scam.
Oh.
That's the whole joke.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, another thing is, anytime I think there's 2 or 3 moments in the movie where we go back to the Chinese restaurant. The soundtrack has to let us know with this
Dun, 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 chopsticks kind of stuff.
yes, chopsticks kind of music that was driving me crazy. And it only happened like it's about 6 seconds of the movie, and it was driving me nuts. Like, why do we need this? We don't need this. Maybe instead of playing the music, explain to us why he's in disguise working at
It's
this.
just meant to be funny, a guy pretending to be Chinese to run a Chinese restaurant. There's no reason why, there's no reason why anyone could run a Chinese restaurant, right? You don't have to be Chinese, but I guess in the 70s in Britain, this was hilarious.
Yes.
Because...
I mean, it's 1980, but this
Well, it was made in 1979.
it seems older.
It does seem older. Even the font used for Wildcats of St. Trinian looks like it's straight out of the 60s.
Yeah.
I think this is a film series that was already out of its time by the time it was making the 3rd and 4th.
Right.
Because the kind of satire that Searle was indulging in with his original St. Trinian's cartoons is already getting dated by the increasing social mobility of the 60s and things like that.
Right. Okay.
Right, so Flash Harry comes out of the restaurant and he comes to visit the girls.
So the girls say they want to start a union.
Yes.
The union of
Allied schoolgirls or something like
British schoolgirls or something. And they want... What do they want? They want free ice cream, free Coke. They want bicycles, mink coats.
So
I don't think we've had any... This is the most union talk we've had since Harold Gray's Little Orphan Annie.
Yep, it's in the same vein.
Yeah.
There's some historical background here. In the late 70s was a period of high union agitation in Great Britain, sometimes called the Winter of Discontent, where strikes disrupted daily life to a large extent. Like a garbage collector stopped working, grave diggers stopped working, there were power cuts. It was also an extraordinarily cold winter, the coldest in 16 years. The fact that the then Labour government seemed to have lost control of society was one of the things that led to Thatcher being elected in, I think, the subsequent year. And after a vote of no confidence in the Labour government, and then sort of unbroken Conservative government in the UK for nearly 20 years after that. So obviously Launder's on the side of anti-union.
Oh yeah.
And he's writing this as just to kind of
he's ridiculing
like the kinds
demands
of the greed of unions and the politics of unions. Yeah.
Yeah, of
workers. Yeah.
The greed of workers
Making
that want
ridiculous.
things.
How dare they
Is there
want
no guild union for the cinematic arts in England? Was he not part of a directors guild or something like that? That would have been
He probably, if he did belong to a directors guild, he probably didn't think of it as a union.
Right.
A genteel organisation that he belonged to, as opposed to those dirty workers. And their ludicrous demands for free ice cream and a 2-day working week.
Now, I will say, in the comics, if the girls had come up with a union for free ice cream, it would have fit. But there's something really distasteful about it in 1980.
Because it's obviously...
Yes.
It's so obviously a partisan political point that the director is making. It's not just a kind of thing that the girls...
Yes.
It's not just yet another extreme behaviour that the girls are indulging in.
Yeah.
It's an unsavoury kind of stab at unions and working people.
Yeah. Because it's all over. It's not like the chemistry. We get one chemistry scene that comes back in this one. That's just like one thing. This is a whole movie's about this union business.
Yep.
And how wrong they are.
Yep.
And how much trouble they're causing by wanting a union.
Yep.
Okay, so Harry tells them, okay, well, it can't just be you girls in this room. You got to get all the schools in on it, and you have to have what do you call it? Closed shop. So
it says all the schools have to be involved, or it won't work.
Yeah.
Nonsense, but whatever. This is all terminology that would be familiar to the audience at the time because of how significant unions were on the national stage at this point. So everyone would know about. He talks a lot about Karl Marx.
Yeah.
Again, Karl Marx isn't super important to unions.
No, and in fact, in one scene, Harry's got a book on his desk which is like, effectively like Karl Marx for Dummies, or Understand Karl Marx in 3 hours, or something like that.
That's it. A common criticism.
It's very much what an anti-unionist would believe that
unions are
workers want.
Yeah.
These workers are Marxists.
Secret Marxists. Yep.
Yeah.
They're communists. I mean, it's been leveled at unions all through the 20th and 21st centuries. Unions, you're just full of communists.
Yeah.
And you're all Marxists, and you all love Marx. And you're doing Marx's plan.
Yeah. Okay, so he gives them some information. We get a scene at the chemistry room, which is, I liked that there was a chemistry scene in it. There's an explosion. They bring out the teacher that's been injured. This does come up later in the movie. Yep. But they need to talk to this girl in the classroom for some reason. I can't remember why. It doesn't really matter. But there was one of the students in the class she's like the smart one.
They need her to get a job at the at the board that recommends enrollments to prospective parents. Right,
because now she'll have contacts with all the schools this way.
The point is that they need to infiltrate.
Yes.
Another thing, more anti-union rhetoric, I suppose, that unionists infiltrate workplaces and convert workers to unionism. So the girls go and enroll at all these prestigious private schools as well, so that they can get these private schools on board, and they do this through some like shenanigans.
Yes,
which are kind of funny.
Well, I mean, at one point, one of these girls cracks a safe and gets the exam questions, or like the entry questions for the schools, and she's able to get into this.
That feels like vintage St. Trinians.
It does, and in fact,
had safe cracking.
We had safe cracking, and I was complaining that it wasn't one of the young kids doing it, and here we do get a young kid doing it, and I was like, okay, there's some course correction here, but the problem is like the sexy stuff in this goes way overboard. Like
completely overboard.
It goes completely in the extreme. Like I complained about it in the '57 movie, and here it's like so overboard. But anyway, we'll get to that. But anyway, she steals that, and there's another kid that like puts a tape recorder inside a violin to pass the music exam.
It's completely ludicrous, but whatever, it's fine.
That's
shenanigans.
It is ludicrous, and it would be fine if the tone and the budget of the movie were right to handle gags like this.
Yeah, you're right.
In fact,
if it was consistently lighthearted like that all the way through.
Yeah.
With unbelievable antics.
Yes, exactly.
But it doesn't keep up with that. Instead, it gets bogged down in all these jabs at union politics and things.
Now, that girl that had infiltrated the enrollments board has found out that there's this princess coming to enroll
another princess, just like in Belle's
an Arabian princess. But for some reason they say she's English. They're like, she's coming over, she's English, she has dark hair.
She has an English mother, I think.
Okay, got it. But she's another Arabian. By the way, we do get... I'll jump right ahead, I don't care.
This film does.
We get another joke at the end of the movie when the prince himself, the king shows up, the sultan, and makes a joke about how he has 16 kids. Or he doesn't know how many. He's got 16 or 17?
He has 70. 70. 7-0.
Oh, I thought it was 17.
No, there's a whole bus full of them.
Yeah, there's a bus full. But
he can't remember if he has 60 or 70.
Got it. Okay. 3 movies in a row.
Yeah.
We've had this joke from Frank Launder. He thinks this is hilarious.
Yep.
He thinks it's really funny
that
to make fun of
other cultures have different marital relationships.
Yes.
Or what could be funnier than a man with multiple wives?
Yes.
It's so...
You're making this... What's your moral center, Frank Launder? Look at this movie you've made.
Yeah.
With these scantily clad 18-year-old girls, maybe? Like...
Isn't it funny how people in different other places live differently?
Look how immoral this guy is. He's got 10 wives.
It's just
the first movie, it was charming.
Yeah.
And it was a good gag.
Yeah.
Where she had to go to the filing cabinet.
Yeah. But
And the second movie is
and
like, okay, come on, we've done this 3 times in a row. I'm like, I really wonder if movies 3 and 4 also had some gag about an Arabian prince with 10 wives and 60 kids.
It would fit the pattern.
Because it really
This feels like a
drove
really
me crazy this time.
parochial. This guy's attitudes were all set in like the 20s or something.
Yeah. And it's 80. Maybe part of the problem is that we're now in 1980, not 1954.
I think that's...
That it's like you haven't moved on from this.
100%.
Like,
100%.
the Chinese accent that Harry has to put on, like, I was forgiving this stuff in 54.
Yeah. But in 80? No. And
No.
I don't think the audience was either, Kumar, because this film was not a success.
Right.
At all.
Right.
And it's been, as we pointed out, it's been disavowed by everyone involved.
Yeah. Okay, so we find out this princess is coming. She gets on the train. I think she's going to go to some school.
She's going to some school, Hartons or...
I can't remember.
It's not a real school, but it's kind of like the Oxford of girls' high schools or what have you.
But there is a secret agent in disguise from St. Trinian's on the train. And once the girl's aunt drops her off, she's abducted, basically, by the St. Trinian's girls. And they have a plot. They are going to substitute a St. Trinian girl into that Hartford school or whatever it was called.
Because they need a casus belli. Because either before this or after this, I don't know. It doesn't even have to be a princess because the princess doesn't have any bearing on the plot, except to involve the Ministry of Education. Okay, I suppose, but I don't really understand why St. Trinians are so gung ho about abducting this princess. Because it doesn't actually... There's no reason for them to be interested in abducting a princess.
Well, my problem was the outcome of this, because they substitute one of their own girls using that girl's name, Roxanne. Actually, this was also confusing. The girl has 2 names, Roxanne and Angela Hall, because she's incognito. She's a princess. She's not supposed to go by her real name, Roxanne.
One of them's the real... so Roxanne is the real name and Angela Hall is
a fake name.
Okay.
So they've sent their own girl under the name Angela Hall to this other school, this fancy school, where she raises complete hell.
Yep,
and the plan is to get her kicked out.
Yes.
And then when she's kicked out, will give them a legitimate complaint, and they can go on strike.
That's it.
However, you have an imposter in that other school. They've discovered the imposter and they kick out the imposter. How is that not within their rights to do? That girl's not supposed to be at that school.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. But
if they had somehow corrupted the princess.
Well, they do corrupt the princess.
Yes.
And in fact, the fake Angela Hall has corrupted the student body just by being there.
Yeah.
She's persuaded them all to join the union and persuaded them all that if she's kicked out, rightfully or wrongfully, then that's unjust and they are going to strike. We never see her convincing them of this.
No.
It's just the idea that if you, like Lenin in his train, if you introduce the bacillus of trade unionism into a school, it will just spread like wildfire.
Right. But there's no wrong about kicking this girl out. She is she's under false name.
But it doesn't matter because the trade unionism is a scam.
Right.
So the strike is a scam, and the casus belli is a scam as well. The whole thing's a scam.
Right.
So it almost, I think, probably Launder's patting himself on the back for the whole thing being a fake anyway.
Okay.
But there's no reason why it had to be a princess that she'd impersonated.
Well, it does because they don't want the embassy to know.
Well,
because it means that the schools have to try to sort it out themselves. Yeah.
It has to happen for the Ministry of Education plot to kick off, but there's no initial reason why the girls of St. Trinian's would be excited about intercepting a princess and replacing her. It could have been literally anybody.
Yes, it could have been, but I think a princess is a better catch to sub in, maybe.
Sure.
A better trophy.
More guaranteed to be expelled when they found out she's faking a princess. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
Okay, finally we meet the staff of St. Trinian's. Not as fun as the staff from 1954,
nope.
Who were like on the run, and that English teacher with the very thick Cockney accent, and all that kind of stuff.
None of that, or the Morticia Adams character, or
yeah.
No, nothing here. There's just some regular people and one model.
Yes.
Who is the games master.
That's right.
Who's in the film so that she can take off her clothes.
Yes. Yes, completely. Okay, now what's going on with the whole plot now with the Union?
Well, a whole bunch of the kids...
Now we're almost at our first topless scene in the movie. Okay, suddenly there's some talk with the headmistress talking to her staff about something. I don't know what.
They're concerned about absenteeism. 42 of the girls have gone missing from the school grounds, which is too much even for St. Trinians to turn a blind eye to.
Right.
We know that they're off doing union agitation.
Right.
But Sheila Hancock, the inexplicably Dutch headmistress, decides she needs to get to the bottom of this. So they come up with some scheme to take the girls on a swimming trip.
Okay.
I don't know how that's supposed to resolve anything.
Exactly. This is why I was so confused. Like, wait, what? There was something about going swimming. I was like, this is going to somehow bring the 42 missing girls back, or what?
Maybe it's to stop any more from absconding. I don't remember why. But we know why. It's so that the games mistress can take her clothes off. Yes. Because they go down to some beach, and then the girls know that they need to ditch the teacher so that they can go and do scheming. So they, because she's not very bright, because she's blonde and chesty, they bet her that she can't beat one of them in a race out to like a buoy or a boat that's out in the bay. And you can't possibly swim with your clothes on. Yep. You know, not even your underpants.
I was surprised by this as well. Why did you take all your clothes off?
They could both, one of the sixth formers and the teacher both stripped down into the all together. Yeah. And we see both their asses as they run into the surf.
I have to say, I was as surprised as I was when we did Captain Battle a few weeks back. Like, I was not expecting a nude scene in this. If you read, I mean, when you read those St. Trinian's comics, they seem like the kind of comics that kids would delight in that they're kids behaving badly in the comics. You know, it's a bit like the Addams Family. I think a lot of the audience is kids, and I think when you make a movie, that movie is going to be for kids that read the comic as well. You know what I mean? And I think this has gone so far off track into scantily clad women, page 3 girls, that's the primary one. And
that's the audience for this movie.
Yes, exactly.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are not going to tune into this movie unless they see
they don't care. I don't
miniskirts.
think they care about the chemistry class explosions. I think he's kind of trying to put both in this movie.
It's hard because they are both there. And, we'll talk... Well, when we do our votes, we can kind of come down hard on what we think about this.
Yeah. So anyway, somehow they've managed to ditch this phys ed teacher by stealing her clothes.
Well, they just... As soon as she goes in the surf, the other girl swims back in, puts her clothes back on, and they steal the clothes and leave.
Okay.
And that's it. That's how
I'm not sure what this accomplished again.
Well, it means they can go run off unchaperoned.
Right.
Then that teacher, I think, calls the school to get picked up.
Yeah.
They think that, the headmistress thinks she's a Swedish hitchhiker, I guess because...
Swedes are nude all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Swedes make pornos.
People, haha. Aren't they funny?
Yes, aren't they immoral? Swedish people make pornos, they run around naked. Not like us.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. And then, of course, the headmistress takes her back to the infirmary and, in a scene that I suppose is supposed to be titillating, puts a thermometer in her ass.
Yes, and then there's something going on with that thermometer, like she's enjoying it, or I don't know what. There's some weird moments here. And then later we get a close-up of the thermometer, and it's like she wants it in her butt or something, like she won't leave the infirmary, or I don't know what's going on.
It doesn't matter, because this is what passes for pornographic. No, pornographic is not the word. Erotic.
Yeah.
Or not erotic either, because erotica implies it's sort of a form of art. This is what we'll go back to titillation. This is what passes for titillating content coming out of the 1970s in the UK.
Right.
This is what gets some jug-eared Midlander excited. The idea of homely women getting a thermometer up their ass.
Okay, so now we go to that the fancy school, Hartle or Hartford or whatever it was called, and the aunt shows up at the school, and this is when it's discovered that the girl that's there is not actually her niece. Her niece, the real princess, is missing. And And now they're going to...
Now the ministry's involved.
Right.
Of course, the nanny or the aunt or whoever wants to call the police and wants to call the embassy. And the headmistress of the fancy school is adamant, terrified of the bad press.
Yeah.
She's adamant that they can't do that.
Yeah.
They expel, I think her name's like Maisie or something like that. This is the one that's...
Tilly.
Oh.
I think it's... Is it Tilly? I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. She's just incredible. She's really crude.
Yeah.
They're a lot more crude, less kind of like anarchic forces of nature, and more just kind of like delinquent, crude, unpleasant delinquents as well.
We're coming up on a scene in like a world history class, which is pretty good in the sense of like in that first movie where you had kids smoking in class. Here we've got kids with a roulette wheel. Some of them are playing darts.
Yeah,
there's all sorts of chaos. The teacher's up there actually trying to teach the class. She's just droning to a class where kids are just gambling and doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. All right, so to wind back, Tilly, Maisie, whatever her name is expelled. She's happy about that because she knows that that's what they need to go on strike.
Right.
She returns to the school on her motorbike. A lot of them are riding around on motorbikes.
Yeah.
And tells them that it's a strike. They all pile out of geography saying, righto, sisters, it's strike time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, as I said, the headmistress of the fancy school is calling the Ministry of Education to solve her problem.
Right. And she's not calling the embassy. They want to keep this quiet. They don't want the foreign nation to find out about it.
They don't want the sheikh to find out.
Right.
They don't want the press to get a hold of it.
Right.
Okay, so then they go on strike. They start striking. The teachers are trying to find the princess because the headmistress also calls headmistress of St. Trinian's.
Yeah.
The headmistress of St. Trinian's, who's very definitely an antagonist to the girls in this one. Not like Miss Fritton being...
Trying to run her own scams.
Here she's just... or kind of like a broadly sympathetic figure to the girls. Here she's just an antagonist. She sends her staff out to try and find the princess, but because the girls have gone on strike, they have a barricade up on all the dorms. And they go out and they protest on the front lawn. They've got signs that say things like pensions for school leavers at 16 and bars, not tuck shops.
Right.
The latter is a St. Trinian's kind of demand. The former feels like a jab at maybe a realistic ask that a working person might have about pensions or something or other.
So they want to talk to the Minister of Female Education.
Yeah.
And they can't get a hold of him because he's out of the country. They talk to the chief of the department instead.
And that's Culpepper Brown, who's our running character from the... We've had Culpepper Browns in the last 2 films.
These guys weren't as fun. There's a scene here where when he gets a call and he finds out that the business about St. Trinian's, he goes and he kind of bangs on a filing cabinet very weakly.
Yeah.
And then comes back to the phone. And I'm like, what if this guy had gone absolutely berserk? What if the actor had started knocking stuff over, screaming before coming back to the phone? It would have been so great. And here it's very... just milquetoast. It's just soggy and weak.
By the numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just repeating a tired gag.
Yeah.
Instead of upping the stakes, it's just like, bang on the filing cabinet. That's the best they could do.
Yeah, that's it. He's just like a little bit upset.
He doesn't start drinking booze like...
No, that's right.
Those were some great sequences, especially in Bells and Trinians, where everyone's closing up shop, and whenever anyone hears the word St. Trinians, they're taking pills, they're drinking scotch, they're locking themselves in their own jail cells.
Yes.
Here he just sort of bangs on a filing cabinet.
Yeah,
I agree. Weak.
Yeah, very weak. So he calls in 2 of his staff. This man and woman.
These are our replacements for the inspector or whatever.
Yeah, a bit like the cop. Even this woman's a bit like that Ruby type.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, you're going to go over to that school, sneak in and find our princess and rescue her. And they sneak into the school, but they're attacked. They're spotted by the girls coming
Instantly, again, and are blown up in the chemistry lab. The second of the 3 explosions in the chemistry lab in this movie.
And then they're thrown
And then that's it. They just give up.
Yeah, that's it. Then they basically have to go back to base with their tail between their legs.
Yep.
God, I'm trying to remember all the deals that come back and
forth. Well, there's so many things going
Harry
on.
Comes in.
The ministry then hires a detective.
Yeah, I like that actress.
She's a good character, and I wish she'd had more time, but she doesn't do anything.
No. She goes to the school undercover as a chem teacher to take over for the one that was blown up. But she announces herself to Harry in like one scene later.
The only person she interacts with is Harry, and and she just says, "Oh, I'm from."
By the way, she gets a tour through the school, which is very like the tour given to the undercover cop in the first movie, and that tour was hilarious because they look out the window and they see Harry, this man, coming out of the woods, and they're like, there's a man on campus? Like, who is this guy? And it was so fun. I laughed so hard. This one, they look at the window and he's taking pictures of naked girls.
Oh, yeah.
Just right out in the open.
It's the same gags, but nowhere near as funny. You know, like, we didn't see the same thing. Like, they ask, "Oh, who's this guy?" And she's like, "Oh, he might be the boot black boy I hired in 1940.
Yeah.
And she just doesn't know. Here, the detective asks, "Oh, is photography one of the courses you run?" And the headmistress, in a stupid Dutch accent, says something like, "Oh, you know, we stopped doing photography because they ran off with the cameras, blah, blah, blah." And then they look out and see that there's two girls in bikinis in a sports car, and Flash Harry is taking photos of them. Or he has someone taking photos of them. And that's the joke.
It's never explained. It's never explained
well, this is
how this is happening.
It's a promotional image for the union.
Oh, right, of course, okay.
So they're announcing that why they're striking and their demands, and they're doing it in a sleazy way, because Flash Harry literally says, "And now it's time for the page 3-er."
Yes.
And they take off their tops.
Yeah.
We don't see their breasts, we just see their backs.
And I thought, okay, we're going to see the backs of women in this movie. No, later on we do see the photo.
Yes, but we only see the photo.
Yeah.
So, do you remember way back in Palooka where we saw...
I was thinking of that. I was thinking of the National Geographic photo.
So it's okay to show... You can't show film of the breasts, but you can show film of photos of the breasts.
It's... The logic is crazy because the film is... the photo is film and the film is film.
I know.
Whoa.
I don't know.
What do you think's going on here?
But the minister is flying back from Monte Carlo where he's been gambling, but allegedly on a...
Oh yeah, it was funny. It was like...
That was a joke that I laughed at, actually.
It was they were there for...
a conference into higher education, and then...
No, but it was for, like, education for poor kids. But it was being held in Monte Carlo.
Yep. And, you know, like, the headmistress of the fancy school says to Culpeper Brown, who's like the secretary to the minister or the assistant minister or what have you, he says, "Oh, I could try and get a hold of the minister, but it'll be hard to get him away from the table." Conference table. I must admit, I chuckled at that.
Right. On the plane, he grabs the Sun so he can look at page 3.
Yeah.
Now, here's where the movie's trying to have it both ways. Well, it's trying to have it both ways the whole way through the movie, but the movie's trying to tell us this guy is a sleazebag for being a minister that wants to look at the topless girls on page 3.
Yep.
If you had filmed the scene in such a way that we don't see the photo, we can agree with that. But then we see the photo.
Yeah.
We see the topless girls. So the movie's like, here, let's look at it.
Yep.
As well, for all of us.
You're right. You know, we're supposed to judge him and an office, you know, someone holding a minister in the crown for looking at tits.
Yeah.
While we're looking at the same tits.
Yes. Yeah, it would have been so easy to just film it, just don't show it.
In such a way where we didn't see them.
Yeah.
But that's not why we're here.
No.
Oh man, you're right.
No, and the whole movie's like this, really. So the minister comes back to the office. There's some business here where this guy, Potter, or whatever his name was, the underling, he gets a phone call that has something about peeled grapes or some party or preparations. Yeah. What is this? Somebody calls and it seems like a party is being prepared at Potter's house or whatever, not Culpeper.
By his roommate. You know, it might be gay baiting, I thought, as I was watching it. Like his roommate was his partner.
Okay.
And
so he says, do you want your grapes peeled?
Because they're gay and gay people have bacchanalian orgies because they're immoral.
Or they're just so delicate that they need their grapes peeled or something like that.
Either's not great.
Okay.
But I didn't know. I just got I thought that might be it just by process of extrapolation.
He is very worshipful of the minister for some reason as well.
He's sycophantic.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like maybe I didn't get the sense that he was attracted to the minister.
Right.
So take that with a grain of salt. I'm not being too hard on Frank Launder here.
Detective Higgs is for some reason attracted to every ugly man she comes across. Like these she comes across this underling, Potter or whatever his name is, and Harry, and she's always like looking them over, like, ooh, this guy.
Yep.
Is this supposed to be a running thing? Is this part of her personality?
Again, this is funny, I guess. Like a vamp is sexually interested in every man she meets.
I don't know, and it's not even clear the way it's performed or shot that this is what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Whatever. So then, the next. We'll just skip ahead. The various minister's various plans to get the girl back and quash the strike don't work. So he comes up with the plan to involve the Left Action Democratic Student Union,
right?
Who is the student union, I suppose, for tertiary.
Right. The lads.
Yeah, lads. So
right. So there's already a union.
Well, this is a university union, which I imagine Launder probably disapproves of student unionism on campus as well.
Right. Okay.
Bunch of lefties and louts and so on and so forth. So, of course, we see them. Their acronym stands for is lads, as you pointed out, and they're like we see them swilling beer in a pub. The minister says that the head of that union is incredibly ambitious, and that he'd be thrilled to have 200,000 new members in his union. So they've come up with like a plot, which is that they're going to trick the sixth form girls into signing an agreement where their union will be absorbed by the lads' union. In the context of the movie, this makes no sense. Why would the girls of St. Trinian's even stay in a union that was run by somebody else?
Yeah.
But if we take a step back to the real world, this is kind of like union politics that was always going on at the time.
Okay.
Different unions, like grubby union politics,
right?
Like skullduggery,
right? People
holding meetings without a quorum. You know, this is what those unions get up to, just kind of like dirty politics. Mm-hmm. You see? Yeah.
Okay, one other thing was the minister threatened the headmistress of the rich school to find the princess or to bring, one of his solutions is to bring that bad St. Trinian's girl Tilly or Maisie back.
Yeah, and re-enroll her.
And that would remove their complaint.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to do it, and he threatens to turn their school into a comprehensive. What does that mean? What is a comprehensive?
I didn't bother to look it up.
Okay.
But maybe
like a public school or something?
Well, yeah, a co-ed school maybe.
Oh.
Or
but she's really threatened by this. She's like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that can happen.
So in the UK, a public school is a private school. It's like the opposite of here. So they are a public school already, and they don't want to become what we would call a public school, open to everybody, I suppose. They hate the idea of that. That would be my guess. Anyway, these posh people find it very terrifying to become a comprehensive, so we can only assume it involves some kind of contacts with the hoi polloi.
Right.
Anyway, they do enroll her, and first of all, the girls are excited because their demand's been met, and then Flash Harry has to tell them, no, you don't want your demand to be met. The whole reason that your demand hasn't been met is the reason why you can ask for all of these demands.
Right.
And so the girls, outraged at their attempt at tricking them, send them back a list of many pages of requests, but the crux of which is that for some reason they've decided they hate the people in the Ministry of Education, and they're going to make them perform demeaning tasks at the school. They're going to make them sort of like scrub the toilets, they're going to make them do the laundry, they're going to make them wash the windows, and the minister himself is going to have to pose nude for the girls' life drawing class, which is the most terrible fate of all. Incidentally, the minister is played by an actor called Michael Hordern, who has a very recognisable voice. He has an enormous Wikipedia page, and he's like an absolute stalwart of stage, screen and radio in the UK. I know him as playing Gandalf in the BBC's radio play version of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
Which I loved and listened to over and over.
He looked really familiar to me. I thought he was like Q in some of the, M in some of the Bond movies. But I was not correct.
You would have seen him
But he's in Barry Lyndon, and he was in a 1951 Christmas Carol. Wasn't one of our actors from last
Alistair Sim.
Alistair Sim
has played Scrooge in that, and that's where most people know him from.
So that would have been the same version, I think, 51.
Yes, that's when it came out.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Detective Higgs finds our princess, finally, the girls of St. Trinian's find out that there's a scheme by the lads to have this party and trick the girls
out on a boat. Trick the sixth formers, who are all horny, into signing this act of dissolution or of act of merger or what have you. They're out in the freezing, out of the sea. It's clearly freezing because there's a breeze blowing. This is England, and yet they're wearing kind of like it's a costume party, except none of the men are wearing costumes. It's just the women.
It's a women's costume party.
It's just the women wearing like
hula skirts.
Yes,
and garlands
and no tops.
Seemingly topless.
Some of them are topless. Some of them aren't.
Yeah,
I guess the ones that are confident are topless, and the ones that said, hell no, I'm wearing a bra, are wearing bras.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Whatever, there's a whole... Harry is sort of involved in all of these subplots. Harry is the one that tips the detective off as to where the princess is because he thinks he's going to get a payout. But
he's also tried to get £2,000 for turning over the princess or something.
Yeah, because the girls stole £400 from the princess to send all their letters out to all of their various union cells across the country. And they can't... That's
also a plot from the first movie where the headmistress stole £100 from the Arab princess.
Yes, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So they can't turn her back over to the ministry until they've paid her back.
Yeah.
Because then they'll have been committing a crime. And they need to replace the money. So Flash Harry says, I'll take care of it. And then he demands £2,000 from the ministry, which is something that Flash Harry would do. Incidentally, that plot is never resolved and the girl never gets her £200 back.
Right.
Just another thing that Launder forgot.
Well, he does this again and again. You put 90 scenes in these movies and add all these plots in there, a bunch of them are left dangling.
The detective, who's made to seem quite unscrupulous, does the right thing and just takes the girl back to the ministry, but the girl's been brainwashed into loving St. Trinians.
Yeah.
I guess that's funny. I guess it kind of happened in the first film too, that she became a pro St. Trinians girl, so it's just the same thing. We don't see how this process is affected. Just being nearby a St. Trinians girl turns you into one.
Also, why was she locked in the room if she was happy to be there?
Good question.
Maybe they were keeping her protected from being rescued?
Well, she just goes with the detective.
Oh,
she doesn't try to fight back, so it doesn't make sense. No, it's just a plot hole. So Flash Harry is... he's told to meet the detective at an address, I guess, to hand over the money. Okay. And then the taxi driver takes him to the address, but the address is like a museum. It's not in all the right place.
I couldn't follow any of this. I couldn't follow any of this.
Well, it's all just happening so quickly.
By the way, do you want to talk about the taxi driver?
Yes, I do. I really do. Do you want to?
You probably have the names right.
No. You've got the name. I don't have it written down. All I said that. What I've written is this: the actor here of the taxi driver is an extremely ugly actor called Alfie Curtis.
Yes.
I call him an ugly actor because
he's got one eye's higher than the other. It's almost like
he actually belonged to a company that represented ugly actors.
Okay.
And it was called Ugly Actors.
Okay.
Which still exists because I googled it. And he got a particular job for which he was most famous. Yes, which is he was in Star Wars, A New Hope, in the cantina scene. He is...
My friend here doesn't like you.
He's that guy.
I don't like you either. It sounded like maybe somebody dubbed his voice.
Right, because he's got like a Cockney accent,
Yeah.
He has the death penalty in 12 systems.
Yes. That guy.
Yeah. So we don't often do a Star Wars reference on the podcast,
but he's like because you look up these actors. I went deep in the Wikipedia page, and they're all they've been on LOLO or Are You Being Served, Faulty Towers, EastEnders, Upstairs, Downstairs, all this stuff that the
Carry On movies, Ben Hill movies,
stuff that maybe I caught on PBS once in a while, but I don't really know any of these. This is the one guy.
Yeah, he popped up in Star Wars, and very recognizable character too.
Yes, 100%. Everybody knows.
I don't like you either. Fantastic, very good. Anyway, so he then takes him to the Ministry of Education, where Harry is intent on confronting the Culpepper Brown, who he calls Cole Potter Black or something.
Cold Paper Black.
Something like that. And. But while he's in the waiting room, he notices that the secretary is typing up a letter to the lads' union, saying that he approves of their plan to forcibly merge with the St. Trinian's schoolgirls' union. Harry sees that and he goes, oh shit, he steals the letter, and he heads straight back to St. Trinian's and tells the fourth form girls that that's what's going to go down out on that boat. So then we get about the only scene in the film that's any fun, which is all of the fourth form girls get in boats.
Well, it's like the war in the first movie.
Yes, it is. Yes.
That's what you want, I think.
Yes. Except this time it's on water. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yes.
They've commandeered all kinds of things. Like one's in an inflatable. Some people are on sort of like looks like a packing crate or something.
Yeah.
Some of them are in boats. Some of them are on jet skis, and the lads are pretty horrified about this, and then of course they invade the boat and they start beating the shit out of both the lads and the sixth form girls as well.
Yeah.
And of course the way they beat up the sixth form girls is pulling off their skirts.
Yeah. And then they've won the battle, and now they come up with a plan to form a non-union. Is this the point where they come up with this idea of some sort of anti-union or something?
Something happens. The Trade Union Council, the TUC, which again everybody would have known,
right?
Which is kind of like the big governing body for all the unions in Great Britain, announces that they're going to disendorse or refuse to endorse the Schoolgirls Union because they're in bed with the lads.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So the girls just promptly announced that they're going to form a not union.
Right, okay.
And then we're back to square one.
Whatever that is.
And so the ministry caves. Yeah, whatever. It's just, it's like...
Why did the ministry cave? I don't understand why they agreed to their demands.
Well, it seems like the only demands they agree to are the ones that intent on humiliating our named characters.
But why? What do they get out of agreeing to those demands?
Because the strike ends, presumably.
Oh.
So they're still striking. They're just now striking as a different not union
entity.
Union.
Okay.
They're no longer interested in... Yeah, we need to end the film. This is like the last 2 minutes of the film.
Yes.
So we just need to end the film, and it just doesn't matter. Whatever.
Yeah. I was really I don't understand what happened in the last 10 minutes of this movie, or really most of this movie.
Yeah, it's just...
so they agree to demand, so now we get these comedy scenes where we see the lady cleaning the toilets and this other guy washing people's underwear. Yep. And when the Sheik shows up, and this is when we get the joke about his 70 daughters.
Yep.
And then the minister has to pose nude for the girls, but he won't do it, and he runs away.
Yep.
And then we try to have kind of lighthearted end credits where all of the adult characters are dancing away. They do a little dance routine down to the water.
Okay. And then we get the final voiceover.
Final voiceover. Post-credits voiceover.
For a character we don't care about, Dutch...
It was some joke that I didn't get.
Well, it was a stupid joke. She sold her memoirs and retired to a resort.
Right.
Which was a one-eyed resort.
What does one-eyed resort mean?
Who knows?
Got it. Okay. I thought you were going to explain the joke to me.
I didn't bother to look up
what is a one-eyed resort.
Normally I would look up this, but I was
Maybe
so
the reason the character had one eye was to lead to this ending gag, which I don't understand.
Yeah. So one-eyed in Australia means that you're a fervent supporter of something.
Okay.
But I don't understand why that would apply to a resort. Like I said, I would normally look something like this up.
Yeah.
But by this stage of proceedings, I was sick.
By the way,
of this movie.
I paused this movie a lot of times, going, how much time is it? It's a 90-minute movie. I was like, how much time is it? It was like, I was at 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 35 minutes. I was like, how much longer?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I was exactly the same. I just kept pausing it and looking at the clock.
Also, by the way, I uploaded this to our YouTube channel because I thought it wasn't on there, but then I looked and it's already been uploaded by a few people. But one of them is in upscale to 1080p.
Who did this?
What was the...
Well,
how is this done? By the way, how is this upscaling done?
Good question. AI, probably.
If it was, I mean, come on. This is enough electricity and water power a city, and you're going to use it to upscale the Wildcats of St. Trinian's? What are you doing?
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, yeah, so, very hard, real slog. Kept pausing. Okay, do we have any trivia about this?
No, I've already covered it all, such as I had. I can talk a little bit about the actors. The guy that plays Flash Harry is called Joe Melia.
Okay.
He's actually been on the podcast before. He was in Modesty Blaze, 1966.
Oh, wow.
He played a character called Crevier, who I assume was just one of the thugs that was orbiting around the antagonist. The guy that played Culpeper Brown, the assistant to the minister, had actually appeared on the series before. He was Major Whiteheart. in Blue Murder. So some of the people that were part of that army camp in the last film. Also, another actor had appeared in Blue Murder as well, an actor called Rosalind Knight, who played Miss Walsh, who I think might have been the geography teacher.
Okay.
She played Annabelle, who was the jewel thief's daughter last week in Blue Murder.
She was like a major character in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But in this one, not so much.
Right.
She's just kind of reprising her role for fun. I have one more. So you have a Star Wars. I'm going to see your Star Wars reference and match you with a Dune reference.
What?
Oh, it's not as exciting as you think.
Okay. We need to ring the bell, though.
Oh, well, I think we do.
Okay, ring it.
Okay, so what happened here? The Chinese girl that enters in one scene and says we are out of crispy spring rolls is played by an actor called Sarah Lum.
Okay.
She plays a truthsayer of House Hagel in the new TV series.
Oh.
So this is
Prophecy.
not on Dune Prophecy.
Okay.
So not on your radar.
That's McDune.
That's McDune, but close enough, I think, that I felt like it deserved a mention.
We have to ring the bell. As much as I hate McDune and the Hackenins, we have to say, okay, yes. Yep. Okay.
George Cole, who played Flash Harry in the original films, in the first 4 films, was asked to appear again as Flash Harry, but he wasn't free because he just started starring in a TV show called Minder.
Okay.
Where he played a character called Arthur Daly, who was basically an older Flash Harry.
Right. Interesting. Very interesting.
And that's all I have for trivia.
Okay. All right. So let's. What's your vote on that book you read?
That's an A for the book.
Okay.
It's just mostly thudding puns and unfunny antics.
Huh.
I didn't like it at all. It had none of the kind of... Aside from the illustrations, which are cool, but we'd already seen them in that book that we read in the first book.
Yeah.
So, but the comics are still yay.
Okay, of course. All right, this movie...
No, this movie's
so
awful.
bad.
Just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. Worse... Is it worse than Verotica?
Oh, okay, good question. It's this... This standard is hard because I always feel like Veronica was so funny I would watch it again.
Yes. Well, is it worse than Fat Slags? Okay, because we decided Fat Slags was the new kind of like barometer. Didn't we?
There's a lot of... I don't think there's a new barometer, but there's stuff that's lower than Veronica for sure. I mean, even Captain Battle was worse than Veronica.
We did say that, didn't we? We'll stick with worse than Veronica. Yeah, look, I think it is worse than Veronica because I would probably watch Veronica again.
Yeah. This is real bad. This was... I felt bad watching it.
Yeah.
Like, I felt dirty.
And this is
It's sleazy.
I felt dirty watching Veronica
it's
too.
It's really racist, like, stuff that was...
But Glenn Danzig is like a musician who's an idiot that wrote a comic and then made an idiotic movie about his idiotic comic.
Yeah.
Frank Launder was a filmmaker who had made real films, and now we're seeing, like, the dregs of his career.
Yeah.
And he's refused to move with the times, and it's just the same racist, anti-foreign, anti-union smut.
Yeah.
And he just has not grown or changed. Yeah. So in that sense, it's worse than Veronica, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Adaptation.
Adaptation. I hate that this film is a yay.
Really? Okay.
Because nothing's changed from the previous weeks where I voted yay.
Right.
It's still... everything I hate about this movie, the gratuitous nudity, the fact that it's less lighthearted and more grubby, aside from the introduction of the contemporaneous politics, it's just the same stuff. Like they've got the girls do the antics. Here the fourth form girls are driving the plot in this one.
Yes, agreed.
We've still the sixth form girls.
We brought the young girls back. We've got the chemistry back.
Yep, the sixth form girls are there, but they're there just to as eye candy.
Yeah,
they're not. They haven't supplanted the role that the fourth form girls occupied in Bells.
Yeah.
They've sort of almost gone back to... I mean, there's still... No one's going into this film for any reason other than to see scantily clad women, I think.
Yeah,
that's the sole barometer for why you would go and see this movie. But still, as an adaptation, all the key elements are there.
Yeah.
And I loathe this movie, and I hate that my own standard for judging films as adaptations applies as yay here.
I'm going to say nay.
Good.
I would have said yay if the smut hadn't gone so smutty. if it was more like the 1957 level, but we had brought back the kids. We brought back the roulette wheel and the darts and all that stuff. And the kids, the young kids doing the plotting. And we had some titillation, but not to this page 3 extreme, this Benny Hill extreme. I would have been like, okay, this is a good adaptation. But that stuff is just so far from what I read in those comics that I have to go now.
Yeah, you are right, but for me, it just feels like it's more of a difference of degree rather than a difference of kind.
Yeah.
It's just more of the same.
Well, it is a different... I'm saying that the difference in degree is enough to push me into an A.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I don't disagree. It's just that I feel like my own standards for how I judge adaptations... that it has to carry just enough to be similar, but change it enough to be interesting, still is present here, even though it's repugnant and revolting.
Yeah. Okay, please like, rate, review, subscribe. You can contact us through the email address in the show notes, or you can send us a DM, or leave a comment on our Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, YouTube, or Reddit. All of those links are in the show notes. You can also please join our Patreon at patreon.com/comicbookmovieoblivion. That's all one word, and that helps us with hosting fees, and sometimes even like buying DVDs and comics and stuff. Okay, next week we're
going to keep this train rolling.
We're going to keep it very rare for us to do 4.
I don't think we've ever done
Crying
4.
Freeman, maybe we did 4, and City Hunter we did 4.
No, they were both 3, I think. So this is the first time we've done 4, I believe.
Whoa. That's,
and this is the series we decided to do that on.
Well, because there's 7 of these motherfuckers. So we're going to do at least 4, because we got different series.
You're right. City Hunter was 4. Sorry, right. We had the Jackie Chan one, we had Mr. Mumble, we had Nicky Larson, and we had the new one.
The legit one.
Okay, good. So this isn't the first time.
Okay, and how many Crying Freemans? That was 3.
That was 3. The one from the 90s, the Dragon from Russia, and the Gun Fu one.
And we only did 3 of the Hellboys.
Yes, so far.
Yeah.
Although, stay tuned, people. We might be doing 4.
Okay, so we will do St. Trinian's, 2007, I believe.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's actually called St. Trinian's, I think. I think that's the whole title. Hopefully Launder's name is not on it anywhere.
We'll see.
2009, but there must be some sort of nostalgic... British people must have some kind of feeling about these movies.
Oh,
They're
sure.
like, we need to revive this twice, like it's Batman or something.
You know, it hadn't occurred to me to ask my dad, who of course was born in England, about these movies. I asked him about Modesty Blaze. Mm-hmm. I haven't asked him about this yet.
Okay.
All right, so by next week I will have asked him.
Well, that's what we'll look forward to next week.